DisAfterDark is a member of the MiceChat Podcast Network. MicePod.com. Now, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
Warning, this show contains childish adult content and is intended for immature, mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. The views spoken are ours and ours alone, not those of any other bugger. If you're easily offended, we strongly suggest finding another podcast. Everybody neat and pretty, then on with the show.
Pub singer sings me back.
Fantastic.
He's running out the door. Come back.
Come back. Thank you. Calm down. Welcome back. Series 3, Episode 17 of DisAfterDark. Yay, we're back. I'm Paul.
I'm Nick.
Paul D.
Craigie L.
It's almost like a boy band now.
No direction.
We all need a catchphrase. Do you know when you listen to Malaby on UUOP? They've all got a little intro, a little catchy. Malaby goes boop 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 like that. We all need one.
Do we?
I'll be the cheeky one.
Okay. So you got to think of a cheeky catchphrase.
Yeah. Oh, look at them plums. You can have that for free.
This is Carry On After Dark.
It is.
It's complete with Sid James laugh.
Yeah.
It wasn't even intentional.
Considering one of the questions in the last show was...
matron.
Yeah, one of the questions in the last show was, what sort of podcast would you like to do?
Yeah.
I think there needs to be a Carry On podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, but on that means, should anyone... Actually, I've lost track already. Where do we go to? I know. Drinks.
Yeah.
Go on.
Always.
Yeah, who's drinking what?
I'm getting my 5 a day. I've got a mixed fruit Copperberg. Sorry, no Disney connections, just what was left over. Cheers.
He never lets you down, does he, Mr. D?
Oh, indeed.
Go on, Craig. I have got Yorkshire tea.
Really? Have you got to drive somewhere later?
No, I've been to London today. But,
you just sighed as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I really fancy a drink, but I'm still on Slim and World. Slim and World update.
Yeah.
7 weeks, 2 stone lighter.
No.
Excellent.
So, there you go.
Good on you.
I've just signed as well. Drink.
You should get the axe out of your back.
Kill it with an axe.
That is your catchphrase.
It is, yes.
Kill it with an axe.
One other side.
Oh, Mr.
That was
Branch.
fun.
Mr. Soap Dish.
No, I'll let you go. First. I'll go last for change.
I am letting the side down.
Oh.
Dramatically, because I have to get up stupidly early and drive quite a way tomorrow morning. So yes, I'm on a nice orange squash.
Ooh.
Orange squash.
Are you allowed to tell us where you're driving to, or would you have to kill us and the listener with an axe? An axe.
It's further north than Sheffield.
Ooh.
But
Is
not
there further north than Sheffield?
But not as far north as Durham.
Oh.
So yeah, York.
If you go further past Sheffield, Mr. D, don't we end up where you were born?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I should have known that one.
Medically, if I go further north than Sheffield, I get a nosebleed.
I used to live near York. That's my piece of trivia.
If you could all update your Paul Dunn on Wikipedia pages, that'd be
There
great.
you go.
I'm not going to say anything because I kill conversation apparently.
So are you driving up in the new Jag yet? What's the score there?
No, I've got almost a 21-week waiting list for it.
It's a bulletproof glass, isn't it?
It
takes
is.
a long time.
And the little machine guns that pop out of the number plate at the front.
Yeah.
Are they building it on Merseyside in Liverpool, or where did he build them? Because I can have a word when I go past in my train.
Coventry.
Oh, right, okay. They do the Range Rovers and that, don't they?
They do, don't they?
They do, don't they?
Merseyside where they take the wheels off the Jags. No,
I could tell you the story, but I won't.
Yeah, Craig, if you start a story, you only know what's going to happen. Oh, Battle Axe is going to get involved, isn't he?
Yeah. Just put me.
So I also have no Disney connection, although I am drinking alcohol. So hang on.
Good on you.
Hang on.
Oh,
That was a good pop, wasn't it?
It's a pop top.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
there's your catchphrase.
It's a Bulmer's cider. Anyone want to guess the variety of Bulmer's cider that I'm drinking?
Is it apple?
Summer fruits.
No.
Banana.
Blood
No.
orange.
Ooh.
Well, yes. Actually, yes. It is. And I don't understand why, but it is zesty blood orange.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know why it's zesty blood orange, but if any of our listeners know why it's zesty blood orange, they can visit our website at www.DisAfterDark.com or email us at podcast@DisAfterDark.com.
Or Bulmers could tweet us on Twitter at DisAfterDark if they want to sponsor us. Or you could find us on Facebook.com/DisAfterDark. And we're also available on MiceChat.com.
Instagram, Pinterest, anywhere else.
Yeah. SoundCloud. We're on SoundCloud now.
Periscope.
Periscope. But we're
Something,
not
yeah.
periscoping. Oh,
We're on the phone as well, it sounds like.
that's someone's wife.
That's Flynn. That's Flynn barking at somebody. We're not sure who.
It was a phone, I think.
Should we just wait and find out? Because I think there are people hanging on there on this podcast waiting to find out who that is.
I'm interested as well.
Yeah.
You just hear a gunshot and a yell.
There we go. Oh, I am going to have to add a gunshot sound effect just there, aren't I? And we're going to get so many complaints.
No actual animals were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Anyway, should we just go straight on with this bit?
A view of the news with Dis After Dark.
I haven't played that for a few shows. Oh, where to start? Well, I was going to start with a non-Disney but an equally theme park related thing. I think everyone's heard about the Alton Towers incident on a ride called Smiler this week.
Yeah.
Alton Towers is an English-British theme park over here, run by Merlin Entertainment Group. And there was a ride called Smiler, which had a problem. One car ran empty. They released another car after it, and it rammed into the back of the empty car. How many injured? 8 injured? Or 16 people on board.
Yeah.
8 of them were fairly serious, and 4 of them were very serious. That's worrying. Is it our position on the podcast to discuss what we think might have happened, or do we have to wait for an inquest?
Well, we've never been one to be truthful about anything.
So we'll just make something up then.
Pretty much. By the way, update. Don't know who that was. Buzzing at the right number, buzzing for the wrong people. Don't get
The
it.
dog is dead.
No, he's ironically enough, he's sitting right on my lap right now. So if anything sets him off, then you're going to say something. Do you want to say something to the listeners?
You haven't got peanut butter, have you?
I'm say,
Because you can get your dog taken off you for that.
yeah, well, I do, but not on me, literally or physically. So this should be fun. So if the bell buzzes again, Flynn's right next to the microphone now, so that should be fun for everyone.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's not. It wasn't good.
No. Yeah, it was a horrible
But
horrible accident.
I think the thing that's annoyed me the most about, not the accident, obviously, the accident's terrible, but especially on the day of the accident, was the number of people, obviously on social media more than anywhere, that were turning around saying, I'm never going to the theme park again, or I'm never going to Alton Towers again, or I'm never going on roller coasters again. Look what happens. Because, you know, the argument there is the same when people say that about flying. Oh, I don't want to get in an aeroplane because it might crash. If you look at how many aeroplanes fly day in, day out, we're talking about thousands upon thousands. And how many of those crash every day?
I mean, the crash happened, 10 o'clock Monday morning?
No, it was Wednesday afternoon?
No, it reopens at 10 o'clock on Monday. So,
the park?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reopens at 10 o'clock Monday. So it's been down for nearly a week.
Because of obviously Saturday and Sunday, and it's estimated that every day they close, every operational day that they close, because they don't they count the close season, it costs them £500,000 in lost revenue.
That's fairly significant.
Yeah.
It's not as significant as one of the victims, though, is it? Who's had surgery to save both the legs.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? Again, with that, I saw that story on Sky News, and obviously they said it was serious. And when you read that, you think, well, you know, it's obviously very serious. It's got to that. But unfortunately, the statement on behalf of the family was given by their lawyers, who said they obviously would be pursuing legal action for payment. And I think that's sad, because I think that's one of the few instances where, you know, we've always taken the mickey a bit out of America having that kind of culture, the ambulance chasers, and I think it was really sad that there was this quite sad message about this young girl who's been involved in an accident, and the attitude was, yes, you know, it's terrible, and they're doing what they can to operate on her, and this, that, and everything else. And obviously, we will be seeking financial compensation from Alton Towers. And I just thought, you know,
we guessed you would.
Yeah,
so
you didn't have to vocalise it.
Yeah, let's just make sure like the girls are right. I'm sure you are going to get your money, and I'm sure you're going to be paid handsomely to do so. But you know, let's put the victims first here.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting as well is that they've closed they've got, is it 5 roller coasters by the same company?
Yes.
So that's across the 3 parks.
So
and
Chesington World of Adventures has shut down 2 rides.
Yeah. Rattlesnake and Dragon's Fury, which I didn't realise. Dragon's Fury.
Thorpe Park as well, the Saw ride.
Saw ride is closed, yeah. I didn't realise that Dragon's Fury is the same ride as Crush's Coaster. It's an outdoor version of Crush's Coaster, essentially.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is, actually, yeah.
I've not been there since it opened, so I didn't know.
But they haven't. But the actual company involved haven't shut Crush's Coaster.
But I mean, I've not seen the cars on Dragon's Fury, and also as well, I think, you know, what you're going to remember is that, you know, this company won't have just made roller coasters for those 4 parks.
No.
They would have made, you know, rides across the globe, I imagine. That's how they normally work. And nowhere else has done that. So it's obviously, you know, there was quite a telling statement from Alton Towers that said that they were taking this action because they didn't feel that the safety was up to scratch. That to me suggests that they are not happy with the vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
it does seem surprising, you know, that even if an impact took place, that there wasn't protection for the people in the front row. You know, you would think there would be buffers or some kind of cage or bars or something, but it looked like the people in the front row were really quite exposed.
Yeah.
I feel sorry as well for the person controlling it.
Yeah.
The minimum wage 17-year-old, no doubt.
And how many people have automatically jumped to the conclusion that, well, if they released one that was empty but didn't wait for it to finish, someone just punched the button. It wasn't the junior just punching the button. Someone had to tell him, no, it's safe, go on, let them go. The queue's built up, let them go.
But what's weird as well is, you know, all these rides have all these safety features.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So if they had all these safety features, how could it possibly happen? There's got to be more to this story than meets the eye.
Yeah.
It can't just be as simple as that.
Well, for anyone who hasn't been to Alton Towers, the Smiler is actually built by a German company called Gerstlauer, and is a world record holder for the number of inversions.
It's 13 or something.
14 inversions on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know, quick search to see what else they build. See if they've built anything that anyone would know. They've got one in Legoland.
Well, Crush's Coaster.
Legoland, California. The Coastosaurus, that was theirs. What else they got? The Mystery Mine in Dollywood. That was one of theirs.
Great ride. Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Saw in Thorpe Park. I can see nothing in Disney World.
Could be something as simple as
Disneyland.
one of the safety features was isolated on the vehicle they put back into service, or you know, and something hasn't been double checked. Something really, really simple could have caused that crash.
Although they've got one called the Wild Svinnet in Bonbon Land, so I might have to go there.
Sounds interesting.
Oh, and one called Heisse Fahrt in Wild Freizenpark.
I wonder how that's powered.
I don't know, but I've managed to go from a very serious piece of news to a comedy German word.
Oh, that's how we normally operate this stuff.
This is how we roll.
And we were expecting you to kill it dead with an axe.
He just droned on and on and on. Maybe you should have done.
Should have done. I was very close. I held myself back from sighing there.
That's very good of you.
I thought so. Has anyone else got any news that's
Can I jump in? I was listening
I'm not going to stop
to
you.
Tom Corliss on the WDWNT the other day. So it's not new news, but Walt Disney World have been trialling a location-based app where you can sit in the crowd of Phantasmic and put food orders in, and they know where you're sitting, and they can bring it out to you directly where your seat is, just literally off your location.
Good grief! How accurate is that going to have to be?
But apparently it's working, and it's been kept separate from my Magic Plus. It's not, or whatever it's called, my Disney Experience. Not involved in that app yet. But what they're thinking the future of it is you know, we're going and making all these ADRs, and then we're going in and sitting down and picking our menu and what are we having? Well, the potential is you can pick your food as you're doing Be Our Guest so many days in advance. When you can pick your menu and submit it potentially an hour in advance, and literally just walk in for your seating time, and the food's brought out to you.
Wow.
So where you might be 2 hours in the restaurant, you're only going to be in there for 45 minutes or whatever.
So I know they've got this technology, and I know they've spent a lot of money getting this technology, but isn't it getting to the point where it's like a bit too much, you know? So you can book your restaurant, fine, okay. You can book your attractions, fine, okay. Now you're actually going to book what you eat, you know. What's next, you know?
There was talk of outside seating areas. Potentially, you put your order in, you go and sit outside somewhere in the area of the vicinity of the restaurant, and they will know your exact location to bring your food out to you.
Blimey.
Yeah. I wonder if it works with the restrooms, you know? Excuse me, sir. Your stall is ready. You know, it's just, where does it end? Well,
I want to book either the back or the front of Rock and Roller Coaster.
Well, that could be next, couldn't it?
That's astonishing.
I'm going to be very controversial.
Oh,
Feel free.
it's not like you.
I know.
Sharpen that
trying to
axe.
upset
Sharpen
listeners,
that axe.
Does it not scream of greed? And by that, I don't actually mean corporate greed this time, but just of that culture. I know it's something that, again, we as Brits have often like to take the mickey out of a bit, you know, like massive portions and stuff like that. But have we really got to the point now where you can't actually watch a show or parade without having food brought to you? It was quite unique. We went to cinema. We went to Downtown Disney at the AMC.
Yeah,
that cinema there.
Cinema, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, we went there, and at the last time we went there, you could get hot food from the concessions, like chicken nuggets and stuff like that, to take in there. But I know they then launched an actual dining thing, so you'd actually have a proper table and they'd bring out, you know, proper food to you and stuff like that. Yeah. And you know, I don't know. I suppose it's a bit of a nice experience, but I've not seen it, so I don't know how near it is to everything else. But to me, I think it's bad enough when you got like popcorn and stuff like that in the cinema anyway because of smells. To have like hot food and, you know, pungent food when you're watching a film, I just think it's a bit off-putting. But I just think it's sad that people can't wait. It's a bit like the smoker mentality where, you know, people, you know, were annoyed when you couldn't smoke in restaurants anymore, you know, and they'd have to rush out to have a cigarette halfway through their meal because they couldn't possibly wait, you know, an hour for them to eat a meal and then leave a restaurant, you know.
And where's it going to stop?
That's what I mean.
Are there going to be people and an app written now so that you can actually turn up? I'm going to turn up at 8 o'clock in the morning for extra magic hour. I'm going to put my blanket on the ground and my nice seat, and I'm going to prepare myself for the show, for the afternoon parade, so I get a good spot. And then I'm just going to use my app to dial out for food during the course of the day.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the restaurants side of it is a no-brainer for Disney because the turnover of punters going through the door could potentially double, couldn't it? Because you order a drink first. Are you ready to order? No. Another 10 minutes while you're arguing with the kids. Then they come, and then they've got to prepare the food.
Yeah, that's going to double or treble the number of covers they can turn around.
Yeah.
Plus, it locks you in, doesn't it? I mean, you know, all the stuff that you pre-book, once you've put that effort in and you've booked your rides, your hotel, your fast passes, your meals, your poopy, you know, whatever it is you're going to book, once you've booked all that, you know, you're not going to then go to Universal. You're not going to say, oh, forget that, we'll just go to Universal today. They've got you kind of locked in, haven't they?
Yeah.
Now, I bet you've got to pay for the food as well up front on the app.
Mm.
That's true.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to turn up for that meal, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mind you, I mean, I could just imagine in Fantasmic, my wife would sort them out. You know, the guy would turn up with the food and she'd say, got some ketchup? And then 5 minutes later he'd come back. How about some vinegar? 15 trips later.
For your popcorn, madam?
Yeah.
Will they take the shops in advance as well then? Can I now book all of my Disney shopping?
That's another thing. You can go into shops, I forgot this bit, buy stuff, and they will deliver it to you while you're sitting at Fantasmic.
Seriously?
No, why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, the thing is, one thing I've always liked the parks doing, if you're staying on property, is the ability to buy stuff and then ship it to your hotel room. I get that, and I think it's a very handy service. I'd also, you know, have been happy if they did a service where basically you could buy your goods and they would leave them at the end, like at the exit gates or something, so you could pick them up as you left. That would also make sense. But why would you want them while you're watching a show to then have to walk out with them? You may as well just carry them around all day.
Open your phone up, open the app up, purchase the particular glowing stick or spinning round Buzz Lightyear of the year with LEDs that you want for Fantasmic.
That's it. That's what they're doing.
Get it delivered, and then there in your hand, a spinning round glowing toy. On the other hand, open up your phone, open your app, just hold your phone above your head. one glowing toy.
Yeah, I'm the guy sitting behind you, so I don't give a damn whether it's your phone or the glowy spinny thing. Yeah. You're still annoying me.
Yeah.
It's only.
So I get on my phone and I order an axe, which I then bury in the back of your head.
From Boniface and Sons.
Yeah. Well, the next phase is going to be really good. The next phase, you pre-book a couple of kids, so you don't actually have to pay for flights for your kids, because you just pick them up there, right? You pay more for the well-behaved ones, 2 kids, rent them for a couple of weeks, and then just hand them back at the end. Saves you a fortune. No flights.
Good would be up for that, wouldn't he?
I have to apologise. The conversation obviously got quite boring because Flynn was clawing at the door and I had to let him out.
A dog's gone and hung himself.
Should have used the axe. Should have killed that conversation.
I'm going to have to kill the conversation because it may have just gone a bit seedy because we're on about renting kids at the moment. Obviously, just for holidays.
Obviously, yeah. It's a Disney project.
Well, let's not be funny. I mean, there was that thing a few years ago where families were renting out disabled people to get disabled passes for Disney parks. So, you know, it wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
That's grim.
Somehow
Very
just,
much.
Yeah, somehow just renting your own disabled person sounds bad as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
we know what we mean.
idea though, because you get a free holiday out of it.
Yeah, we know what you mean, but
I'm going to say, it's not very zesty, this Bulmers.
Is it a bit bloody?
It's just orangey. Like, blood orange to me is like a very red colour, isn't it?
How orangey is it? Is it orangey enough for crows, or is it too orangey for crows?
Well, let me answer that question 2 ways. The first way is actually, I would say it's more like a Lucozade orange.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Like original Lucozade, that kind of colour.
Yeah.
And have I ever told you why Kiora's too orangey for crows?
Why it is?
Actually, do you know what? I think you may have done, but but I'm sure we've got listeners that have joined us in recent podcasts,
And they also want to be bored.
Yeah.
So basically, we had a drink called Kiora. Its tagline was it was too orangey for crows, and the animated crows in the advert wanted to be your dog to get some Kiora because they really wanted it. And the reason it's too orangey for crows is because crows have a very low intolerance even to citric acid, of which Kiora had a high citric acid content. So if a crow legitimately drank it, it would explode.
Is this true?
Absolutely true.
That's my catchphrase. Is this true?
You can say at the end of everything I say, because most of the stuff I say does sound like crap. But I do have another story.
Go on then.
So today I was wearing for the first time a pair of shoes by the company I'll be your dog.
It's too orangey for crows. It's just for me and my dog.
I'll be your dog.
There you go. I'll be next dog. I'll do a little. Oh yeah. Okay. There you go, boys.
Here we go. Flynn loves Kiora. He's not a crow. Today I was wearing, for the first time ever in my 31 years, or almost 30 years of existence, a pair of shoes by... No, a pair of shoes. Do you want to guess the brand?
Crocs.
Nike.
No, I've worn Crocs, but you've seen my Crocs before.
Skechers.
No, close.
Nike.
Skulls.
No.
Doc
Clogs.
I live in Doc Martens, so no.
I thought you lived in London.
Converse.
Close.
Oh, kick.
Vans.
Bands.
Yeah.
Vans.
Well, I do have a pair of kicker shoes, actually, at the age of 31, embarrassingly. But yes, I wore today my first ever pair of Vans. My friend came back from America with a pair of Star Wars Vans for me to have.
Rah.
Must say they are very comfortable, and I'll stick a picture up on Twitter. But the reason for bringing this up is obviously Star Wars is a Disney franchise, and so they did a range of Disney Vans. But Friday, just gone,
I think I know what you're going to say. Go on, carry on.
Disney Vans were released.
No.
Disney Vans were released. So Disney and Vans have collaborated before in the 80s, and they re-released those about 3 or 4 years ago. But this is a completely new range of shoes designed by Vans and Disney. There's a traditional range. The traditional range has shoes, socks, matching shirts, matching backpacks, matching hats. They've got the whole hog. And they're of the famous 5. So your Mickey, your Donald, your Goofy,
George, Timmy,
your Minnie.
Sorry.
They're the other famous 5. Actually, it's just the famous 4. There's no police or anything like that. Is a phrase commonly said by Minnie Mouse. So they have those, and they've also got some Disney villain shoes. There's some princess ones with Belle and the Little Mermaid and things like that as well. And there's also some Lilo and Stitch ones coming out, I think, later in the summer for their second phase, which aren't out yet. But unsurprisingly, the Disney community, kind of gone a bit mad for them. So I think it was worth talking about those.
Yeah, are they good? Do they look good?
The same with anything like that. Some of them look good, some of them don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a nice pair of Donald Duck ones with lots of little cartoons of Donald Duck. But some of the other ones, not really my cup of tea. A little bit too out there for me, and I like quite out there shoes. I have the Tron one still. But yeah, not too bad. But I was actually surprised how comfortable they were. Because I've never worn them before. So I've always been a Converse kind of guy. But now, I'm tempted to buy some Disney Vans, is essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just having a look on the website now.
Or, even better, somebody wants to give me some Disney Vans. I prefer that. I'll take some Donald Duck ones, please, thanks. But yeah, you can Shoe actually have a few exclusive ones.
There is actually a Winnie the Pooh one.
Yeah.
So you know what you've got to say then, haven't you? Look, you've got put on your shoes.
Yay!
Sorry. That's a Donald Duck one.
But yeah, so Shoe, that's SCHUH, has some ranges, some styles that aren't available in the rest of the UK. Most you can buy from Vans or from retailers like that, and I believe it's Journeys in America, who I'm sure must be affiliated with Shoe, because they seem to have a lot of the same exclusives and they have a similar store layout. Have also got some exclusive styles, so anyone looking to buy some, do so. Don't compare the prices though, because they are about £52 English and about $60.
That's not bad for a pair of shoes.
Yeah. There's more exchange rate that bothers me there.
I still wear my wedding shoes. I'd say not
Really?
tight like, but yeah. Been married since 1998. Still fit into them.
I've actually still got my wedding shoes, but they do need to be rehealed,
They're the only
resold.
shoes I've got. I'm a meth.
Craig, that's not true. We've seen your Crocs.
Be careful how you say that.
There is
I
actually a
would be in
whole,
the circus if they had to.
there is actually a range. So you got the shoes, you got socks, hat, backpack, shirt, and t-shirt, all matching.
And all of that could have been said over the top of the Generation Game music, of
Yeah.
course. It did sound like a conveyor belt stuff.
Do you know when you buy all that, Nick? You're off the show. You're literally off the show. Imagine walking down East London
East London tan.
in his Star Wars gear.
I don't care how much of a Disney fan you think you are. If you put that lot on,
You're going to be.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's the thing. No, I'm completely with you guys. I think everything in moderation. I wouldn't wear a pair of Disney shoes with a Disney t-shirt or shirt. Like, I think it's too much. There was somebody on a social media group, I won't mention, because I'll probably get kicked out again. But
Was it a dib? I'll mention it.
the Dib don't like me anyway. But they never kicked me out of anything.
Yeah, they haven't kicked me out of anything because they won't let me in.
Are you still banned?
Don't know who haven't been on there.
Yeah, Paul probably is. I've can't put a good enough word for you, mate, unfortunately. But on this social media group, a woman was showing off some pajamas that she bought in Primark, and was gloating about the fact that although they're pajamas, I'm crazy. I'll wear them out in the street. And someone else said, "Oh, I do the same thing. Yeah, I wear my pajamas out as well because I think they look better than that." And I was like, not being funny, but I understand. You might think it looks like a t-shirt, but it really looks like a nightshirt. You can't get away with it.
It's
And I was just shot down. I was just like, nah, people don't mind. Like, people probably step away, which is why they don't mind. They're not going to say anything to you because they think you're probably going to murder them with a knife or an axe. And that's what they're saying away. What I'm saying is that don't worry,
Just don't
I'm not
do
going to
it.
be doing that. And please don't wear pyjamas out in public, you weirdos.
Excellent. Cool. Well, Craig,
What?
would you like to explain your idea for the next 26 shows.
I like Craig, explain your idea, because in case people don't like it, we want to make sure
We're going to do it anyway.
Craig's idea.
Yeah.
But, I'm giving him the chance. This was Craig thinking outside of his box.
Well, I'm going to give credit to John Bishop. Before John Bishop was famous, he used to be on a radio show in Liverpool, and it was called John Bishop's Alphabet Soup. And he went through the alphabet every week, A, B, C, D.
Yeah, we know the alphabet.
To explain to American listeners, in Liverpool, there's a big problem with kids not knowing the alphabet, and that's why the show was so popular.
F, G, K, Y. Yeah? So the alphabet.
Yes.
And basically, it was talking about things that the first 26 shows were things he hated, and the next 26 shows were things he loved. So we're going to change it a little bit, and we're just going to pick a word. We don't know what the others have all picked. Obviously, this week is A. It's anything in the Disney universe, maybe primarily Walt Disney World, but anything, anything that takes your fancy. And you maybe have a little nice story about it because it was a ride you went on, or anything, and we'll just talk about it, make a bit of fun about it, or whatever, and then the next person. But if your word goes because someone's picked it first, you have to then pick another word.
Sweet.
So we're going to do it on seniority in the podcast, so I'm going to be last every week. So
who's going first then? Does that mean me?
yes.
Yep. Creator of the show.
That wasn't a sigh, that was me just downing the water.
That sounded like a sigh.
In which case, I'm going to go with A for Alice.
Oh.
And you may ask, who the is Alice?
Oh, I can answer that. My daughter's just turned 2.
Indeed. Indeed. Kind of the reason why I thought it was a nice start.
Oh.
It harks back to that. But I was wondering whether or not Alice and all of her appearances in various theme parks around the world, with Paris and her labyrinth, but also Alice in Wonderland, you have the Mad Hatter's Teacup in pretty much every park around the world. Is Alice in Wonderland the film in the Disney back catalogue that has inspired more rides in the park than any other film?
Got the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, haven't you, in Disneyland? Was that still there?
Yeah, you've had that. But, I mean, other films like, Snow White has had her Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs ride. And now that's closed down and you've got the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Yes, that's spawned 2 attractions. Let's think. Alice in Wonderland has the teacups, as you say, in Paris, in Disney World, Disneyland, and is it in Hong Kong?
Oh, I have to think. I can't
There's
even remember.
only 6 rides there, Paul.
I shall check the interweb.
Out there.
Yeah.
And Tokyo has Mad Hatter's teacups. I'm almost certain on it. So you've got that. So essentially, every park should have an Alice attraction of at least one.
Yeah.
Paris has the only Curious Labyrinth.
Yep. She quite often appears in Epcot.
And also, of course, the original ride in Disneyland, the Dark Ride.
Yeah.
Which was recently remodeled as well.
That's true. Yeah.
So there's at least 3 separate attractions.
And her meet and greets.
And her meet and greets.
And in various guises around parades. She even pops up squished into a house in the Magic on Parade in Paris. She pops up in pretty much everywhere.
She has a dedicated hotel room in Tokyo.
There you go.
As well, like a themed room, and also there is a Alice in Wonderland themed restaurant in Tokyo Disneyland as well. Very, very popular film in Japan was Alice in Wonderland, and it's quite surprising actually because it was one of the biggest, one of the first flops Disney had.
Yeah.
I think Fantasia was probably the first one they had trouble with, but Alice in Wonderland had a lot of expectation, and just never really took off. It never did big business in America or the UK, really. And it's one of those films that time has been very kind to.
Yeah.
I never really met anyone that's hated on it nowadays. But yeah, there was definitely a stigma when it first came out. And when I was a kid, this is a thing that our younger listeners won't really understand, is that
You used to be a kid.
I used to be a kid. No, but sorry to point out your ages, but or hark back to them. But you were when you saw Disney films.
I didn't see the premiere.
Not like Star Wars. No, but when you saw a Disney film, Disney would release films every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
At least, wouldn't it? Sometimes a little bit longer, but you guaranteed a new Disney film every couple of years. They didn't really show Disney films on TV. It was quite rare for them to show films on TV. So what they would do is they would re-release films as well.
Yeah.
In between the gaps between new films being made. There was no way to watch them at home if they, unless they showed at Christmas or something like that. There was no VHS tapes, there was no DVDs, there was no Blu-rays, there was nothing on demand. So the only way to see Disney films was at the cinema, and when cinemas decided to re-show them. So, when I was just a little girl, was when they started to release Disney films on VHS, and they did the same thing which they've done with DVDs and Blu-ray since, which is release them for a limited time only from the Disney Vault. And, we'd get 1 or 2 Disney films released per year from the Vault. And Alice in Wonderland was one that I remember my brother being bought, and was one that he was quite obsessed with. And because he had it on so often, I then ended up watching it so often myself.
Did you get the dress?
Yeah, and started to dress up like her. But it's always been one of those cartoons that I could watch over and over. It's not particularly long. I think it's about 67 minutes or 70 minutes, something like that. It's not very long at all. It's quirky. It's got some crazy ideas in it, some interesting characters. No one's boring in it. In fact, you could argue the most boring character in it is actually Alice herself.
Yeah.
She's just surrounded by mad characters. And yeah, I've it inspired, with the original story as well, because the original book itself is a classic work. Was the reason that we wanted to name our daughter after.
Excellent.
So a couple of things.
Who's
couple
next?
of things about it. Well, a couple of things about that though.
Go on.
So there is 5 of them, right?
Yeah.
There's Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, Tokyo, Paris, and Hong Kong. And in 2004, they actually made it more difficult to turn the teacups because there was an accident. And last piece of trivia, I don't go on it because it makes me feel pukey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I can do anything else. I can, you can chuck me up and down, turn me around, but don't spin me. It gets
My
messy.
girls spin me round, right round, like a wagon wheel, round.
Round, round, baby.
Yeah, and I fall off that ride. They're crying, howling with laughter.
Yeah.
I am literally green.
Yeah, no, it really makes me feel ill for about 3 hours afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm exactly the same. But my two are now old enough that they're excited to be able to go on this particular ride by themselves.
Yeah.
So, Daddy will stand and video you on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my A, Alice.
Perfect.
Cool.
Go on, Nick.
Well, B's a strange letter because
No,
you're
you're
an A.
You're A.
I'm
We're all A this week.
Yeah.
That's where
DisAfterDark this week is brought to you by the letter
A.
A.
Oh, that's what I need. I need Sesame Street style introductions. Otherwise, I get confused with things. That's put me on the back foot. Well, then I would say A is not something I've done. It's not something I've done, but wondered if anyone had ever stayed at Disney's All-Star Resort.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeedy.
You have?
Oh, yeah. That's my Disboard's name.
Laughing in the background.
All-Star Paul is my Disboard's name.
Really?
Yeah.
So was that where you always stayed then?
It was at the beginning. The first time we went, we stayed in All-Star Sports and All-Star Movies. They were building All-Star Movies then, so it wasn't open. But we stayed in all three of them. We stayed in Movies a couple of times, Sports twice, I think. And the Music one, I think we've only stayed there once. So yeah, stayed in all of them.
Because I don't know why, but I think people tend to turn their noses up at the resorts like that. So we stayed at Pop Century when we went and stayed on site for the first time, and obviously All-Star Sports and All-Star Movies are like the two other kind of big ones at that kind of price range. But to me, a hotel room's a hotel room. I just want it to be clean.
Yeah.
But I really love the theming of the grounds there. I find them fascinating.
With the big old toys and cars and sports stuff and memorabilia, movie stuff.
How many rooms is it?
Oh, lots.
All-Star
Movies is 1,920 apparently.
So is Sports.
Are they on they must be exactly the same almost design with.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Really, really cheap architecture. Sorry, I'm killing it with an axe.
Stop it! Put it away.
The first time we went, you had to decide whether you were going to stay on-site or off-site. So we thought, right, first time we're going to stay on-site, but we'll stay in the cheapest on-site, which was the All-Star. And then we just liked it. So we've gradually kind of gone up to moderates and Old Key West. But the rooms are basic, but they're good for kids because, like, the food court's good. You know, big food courts. They don't have a sit-in restaurant. They don't have a table service restaurant. But if you got young kids, you know, you can get like pizza and ice cream and all sorts of stuff. So, and the theming's good. You're right. So good value.
I've just seen actually because there's three. We missed out music as well. So there's also movies, sport, and music. All-Star Sports and All-Star Music opened the same year, 1994. But movies didn't join up until 1999.
Yeah, that's right. The first year we went was 98, and they were still building movies.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah,
all of them were designed by Arquitectonica.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, you need to have a better name than that. That's terrible. I do think what's quite cute as well is as part of the All-Star Movies resort is the areas they chose. So there's 101 Dalmatians, which makes sense.
It's a classic Disney.
Yep, and they had the live action one as well, and they had the cartoon series, so that makes sense. Yep. Toy Story, again the same, endured through time.
Yep.
Fantasia, you know,
it's
there's still fondness for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'd go with that. Herbie the Love Bug. Again, I still, you know, they made modern films as well.
Building up to something here.
The last one, The Mighty Ducks. Now, on top of that as well, not only is The Mighty Ducks not based on the actual film itself, it would have been based on the cartoon series, which was really crap. But also, I suppose it would have tied in with them owning the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim ice hockey franchise, which they've not had for about 10 years now.
Yeah, true.
So it was obviously right. Let's have something really current.
Sport themed.
It'd be a bit like on the movies result. That's what doesn't make sense. But you know what? It's lucky they didn't do it a few years later. Because could you imagine they chose the same lineup and went, right, we need something current now, modern. What kids are talking about right now? Get them in. What do we go for? It could have had a Home on the Range section. Now that's two references in recent weeks that we've discussed Home on the Range, and I don't think any other Disney podcast has done that.
No,
was there a Home on the Range too?
Oh God, no!
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, that is what it would have been called.
Slaughterhouse.
It would have been about the cows breakdancing. Or, yeah, of course, Home on the Range 2, The Slaughterhouse Rules. But unfortunately, didn't come to
We all get
fruition.
mad cow disease and eat each other.
If you watch that film, you'd have got mad cow disease. So that was my A.
Home on the Range 2 is called Pico Spells.
It's called dinner time.
Paul, Mr. D, if you could not let your A be A Home on the Range, please.
I'm saving that for H.
Yeah.
Last thing on All Stars, though, strangely enough, they charge more for the movies, but the rooms are exactly the same. Anyway, me next, is it? My
Yes,
A?
indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a non-controversial one. Avatar Land.
Oh, now that's right out the blue.
Yeah.
Good choice. Good choice.
That's right out of the blue. I see you done there. See who's done there.
See
Blue
that?
people. Smurfs.
Smurfs.
I can't wait for Avatar Land.
2017, is it? That's when they're saying, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, give on.
It was
Yeah, and then it
announced
was
saying
in
Universal Studios.
1872.
Yeah. And the movie's going to be 2017 as well, I think. The
Is it
sequel.
hell?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, so they say. But they released a video recently, did you see it? Which shows a couple of geezers looking at this model very intently. And then there's all sort of lit up pieces, and they walk through this area and your footsteps light up. But it basically looks like a lighting showroom, like a neon lighting showroom.
B&Q.
Yeah, on the face of it, it looks quite good. You think, well, it's good, and then you kind of watch it again and you think, actually, no, not really. It's not that,
Well, I'm going to have to dig that video out and then
Yeah.
replay Michael Jackson's Billie Jean over the top of it.
Yeah.
It looks
essentially
quite
what it
good
is.
when there's two people walking through it. But when there's 200 people, strollers, electric wheelchairs, and big, fat, dopey Americans prancing around in front of you,
I don't think that
delicious.
those people are available, by the way.
it's going to be crap.
It's going to strobe.
Yeah.
There's going to be
You-
epileptics having
There's just-
fits.
Left, right, and centre. You're going to have to go through it two at a time just to go to the bathroom. But apart from that, I can't wait. Avatar, I thought Avatar the film was fantastic, and I only seen it in the house. I didn't see it in 3D.
Wow, that is impressive.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be wonderful. The Imagineers will do the best job they possibly can on it, and it'll be interesting. It'll be a different experience for Animal Kingdom. I don't really care for the film.
No.
The first time, and I've said this before, the first time I saw it, I really enjoyed it. Second time I saw it, I really enjoyed it. The third time I saw it, I really enjoyed it. Every time, those first 3 times were in various different cinemas, in various different screen sizes, all in 3D.
Did you
The
enjoy
moment I enjoyed it all 3 times.
it? Okay.
The moment I watched it on TV in 2D, I realised without the gimmick, it just is a boring film.
Well, the film itself is not a great film. I'm talking visually in HD on Blu-ray.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. I mean, James Cameron is a good filmmaker for a reason. But I mean that unfortunately, it was a blessing and the curse, and it kicks off the 3D revolution. But it's one of the films that has used it to the best advantage, even to this day. It still stands out. I mean, I'm mocking it now, but I actually bought it last week with Titanic, a film that I don't particularly care for.
Titanic Land would be good.
Well, if that Paramount Park in the UK ever gets off the ground, then that will be an attraction there, actually. But I actually bought Avatar and Titanic in a 3D Blu-ray 2-pack for like 13 quid. And I couldn't turn it down for that, because if I want to just watch something with the sound off in 3D and just be blown away by the visuals, Avatar's the way to go.
Yeah.
It's
Do you want
when
another
have to listen to the
random A? Do you want another random A?
Go on,
Yeah.
Nick. Throw it in.
Aardman Animations. They've been signed up for that Paramount Park.
Hey, really?
Gravesend. Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me, actually. It's a British company. They've not really done anything with the American part, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Go for it. But I mean, as long the concern I've got with Avatar Land and what you both referenced there, the light and everything like that, is, and the film, is that when you see it for the first time, you think, "Wow, how great this is!" then when you actually step back away from it and think about it for a little bit, you realise that actually it's not anywhere near as good as you thought it was the first time.
An absolute triumph of style over substance.
Exactly, which you could argue is a lot of James Cameron's output after Terminator 2. So I just hope that it has the longevity. I left Harry Potter in Florida wanting to go back. And now, I think about what I saw there, and they've not really expanded that area. I know they've built into London, but I mean, just the area that I saw, I still remember it vividly and the enjoyment of it. And, I want to go back and see this and I want to see that. And it felt magical. And I know the projection, the images that they've released so far of the artist's interpretations look fantastic. And if it's like that, I can see it being something magical. I really hope they bring their A game to it. Pardon the pun. But at the same time, I'm concerned that it, as Paul says, it could be a lot of style over substance, and it's not that big home run that they need it to be. It needs to be a home run. It needs to blow everything out of the way that Universal Orlando are doing at the moment. And I don't think
it'll blow. It's going to blow Harry Potter out the water. You've heard it here now, right here, right now.
If you've heard it from Craig's mouth, you won't hear that from anyone else.
The second Harry Potter area, to me, is a massive disappointment. It's a ride in a shopping precinct. That's all it is.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
There was nothing. I physically wept when I walked into the first one. I couldn't wait to get out of the second one. That's the difference. I think Avatar Land's going to blow it away.
Interesting. Just talking about Harry Potter. They announced this week that Harry Potter will be finally hitting Universal Hollywood in 2017. Or was it late 2016? Anyway, it doesn't matter. And they're having the Hogwarts Castle with the Forbidden Journey ride.
I think it's a massive mistake on the part of Universal.
Really?
Yeah.
But one thing they are doing is they're turning it into a 3D ride.
Yeah.
Which now, I mean, I understand why Craig just said what he did, but we got to remember is that there will be people that have wanted to go to Harry Potter at Universal and won't go to Orlando. So for people that have done it, yes, it's a disappointment, but there'll be plenty of people that won't have experienced that.
If they're making that a 3D ride, right, that means they're taking out all the physical stuff from the ride.
I agree,
because they haven't got space.
I absolutely, and I was going to say that because if you've ever, I mean, I've not been on it, but I've seen video of the Mummy ride in Universal Hollywood.
Yeah.
Now, where they built, so obviously in Orlando they took out Confrontation to build the Revenge of the Mummy ride.
Yep.
In Hollywood, they took out E.T. Completely different show size buildings, and the ride in Hollywood is a lot different to the one. Like, all the scenes are different. The ride is shorter. The drops are not as intense. It just looks like a completely different ride. It has some of the same effects, but the experience looks completely different, and that come down to space. So I'm with Craig. Even though they're building this castle, they've obviously only got so much land to build it in. And yeah, I think, if we're wrong and they've built it properly, they built it the same size and scale and everything like that, and the ride still has the physical bits, then that'll be brilliant. Because I think it'll be hard then for people to ride it to go, well, what is real and what's 3D? And so, if
they've done in Gringotts, Gringotts to me is a massive disappointment. Same, that's 3D with some physical elements. Spider-Man's better. Got physical elements. Yeah, okay. Spider-Man's better. Transformers is better.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Good. Excellent.
Right.
We've got an A for us, Craig.
I'm going to say Anna from Anna and Elsa from Frozen.
Blimey, we only got through A without getting onto Frozen. That's amazing.
and I'm sorry, but last year when we went, our Grace was 5, and we got there on the first day for rope drop 2 hours early because we were jet lagged and stuff. And she had Anna and Elsa doll in her backpack, her own little backpack. And when that train come in that morning, and them two got off the train, she's on my shoulders, waving the dolls at them furiously. And
did you
Anna,
have, were they the separate dolls?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And Anna waved at her, and what she wasn't going to. We had a fast pass for the meet and greet later on in the day.
Yeah.
And what our Grace wasn't going to say to her. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it was quite an emotional moment as a parent, because you've done all this planning and saving, and here you are, and one of the characters is interacting with your daughter and stuff. Fabulous. And then when we got to the meet and greet, she's going to do this all the way through the fast pass queue. Where next? I'm going to speak. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And when she got to her, she literally couldn't speak. She was speechless, and all she could do was hold her dolls up. She held the Anna doll up to Anna, and Anna talked to the doll and stuff, and then she did it to Elsa. And I think, putting it into the context of Walt Disney World, I think they're missing the trick by shoehorning it into what was a perfectly acceptable attraction in Norway.
Maelstrom.
Yeah, I think it should have its own land. I really do. And its own unique experience, because it is pure magic.
I had the same thing with our two. The oldest one was like, oh, I'm going to say, and then just clammed up completely.
Yeah,
when they got there.
Even our 10-year-old, she was just a mute, speechless.
Yeah, Ellie clammed up. Sophie doesn't clam up quite as well. Sophie was 5 when we were 4.5, 5 years when we were out there, and she didn't have the two separate dolls. She had the one doll that you turned over, and up one way it was Anna, and if you turned it over and folded the dress down, it was Elsa at the other end. And Sophie walked straight up to Anna and went, "Look, I've got this flipping doll."
So when you said that earlier, when you said to Craig, was it the separate dolls? Yeah. I was thinking, is this some weird Siamese doll thing that you think? I didn't realise.
No, our Grace has got the same doll. Yeah. I mean, what they did last year at putting it into Hollywood Studios was cheap and tacky, but also without that, the crowds wouldn't have been there. You know, did you go in the shop? Did you go into
Oaken's
trade? Yeah,
Wandering Oaken's trading post. Didn't even get close to it.
And so
it was full of tat.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't
pure
surprise me.
Tat. It's as if they've been caught with the pants down. They don't know what they've got. They've got this unbelievable franchise that they're making a second film. The show
monster.
Yeah.
And they're treating it with such disrespect, just cashing in on it.
But I think you're right. I think they had to do something, and they kind of lashed up something quickly. But you know, will they then come back and do something better, even after Maelstrom? You know, I wouldn't put it past them.
Of panic.
I think it does stink of panic, but what you got to remember as well is that when you talk to guests going to Disney World, you say to them, what are you looking forward to going to? Everyone says Magic Kingdom. A lot of people say Studios. People that have never been there will say Animal Kingdom. But Epcot is always like, and please do not get offended, anyone, because I've got no problem with your kind, but it's like the gingerhead stepchild.
Yes.
Right? Because it's always a park that people will go to, but it's never the one that they look forward to going to. And people go to Epcot and love it, but there's this stigma about, it's not very exciting, it's not very many good rides, and there are. But compared to the other lands, the other parks, you could argue there's not. So I think actually in some ways it's actually quite genius, because now people are going to flock, and not only they're going to flock to one of the pavilions which had a decent ride, But how many people are excited about going to Norway?
Are they going to step off the Frozen line and then avoid a film again?
Exactly. Hopefully they've updated the film. But
Can you imagine that film?
Come this way.
That film redone with Frozen characters.
They could do anything. They could stick anything on that big screen of Frozen cats and then watch it.
Yeah, I definitely want a throwback to that ride. The little nods to the old one. They need to have "You are not the first to come this way."
Yeah, that's a classic line.
At some point in the ride, just as a nod.
That's a nun said to the bishop.
But I think I can understand the feeling of disrespect and getting something out there quickly. And they've done it in the studios last year. Disneyland Paris are going to have it this year with the area they've just opened up as well. Although I've got to say that Olaf meet and greet looks amazing. But I think what the problem is that what you see as cheap tap, and lots of it, Craig, is what some people will see as cheap tap. But the majority of people will have kids going, I want.
Oh, yeah.
And the cash tills will just ring. And let's be honest, Disney need to sell stuff. Doesn't matter what they sell, as long as they make money. If they can produce cheap crap quickly that will sell out, they will do it.
You were limited in that shop. You could only buy, I think, 5 items or 10 items per person.
There you go. And that proves the element of it, is that even though it's not stuff that you would necessarily want to go and buy.
And there was a baskets only till 1 item or less.
And that's it. I think over time they will realise a bit and have more time to catch up. Let's be honest. How many times have Disney gone, right, this film's going to be a big hit. Let's start preparing a ride. We discussed it recently with Dick Tracy and The Rocketeer and things like that. Films that never took off. Disney can't always guarantee a film is going to do as well as it should do.
No, but they could have a template on standby for when the next film does hit.
The Rocketeer did take off.
Yeah, it took off like Tomorrowland. That's a story for another show, of course.
On that note, I have to kill it with an axe now.
Oh. Yeah, get your chopper out.
This is a family show. Oh, look at those plums.
Oh, matron.
Next show, B.
We will look. Before people get bored, it's not the only thing we're going to do. Okay, there are other things in the show as well.
Yeah.
Give us feedback.
Yeah.
Drop us a line.
Yeah, and it's that person that gave us a really bad iTunes review that I can't remember his name, but he said we're all monotone and stuff. That's cool. But what we really want, if you've got bad feedback, is it's got to be a bit more explicit about it. Say why.
Don't get more. Oh, we did.
I don't think he did. Like I don't think his points were that. I don't think his points were directed to this show. To be honest, none of those points sounded like this show at all. Sounded like other podcasts, because other podcasts are available. But that's
your
catchphrase. That is a catchphrase. But that's why we say contact us at podcast@DisAfterDark.com. That's why we say contact us on Twitter, because we don't want people to just stand there telling us how great our bits are and how big they look, because we don't care. We do this for fun. We do this because we like to try and entertain people, but we also do this as a bit of a laugh and a bit of fun. And we're not going to please everybody, and not everyone's going to love it, and that's cool. We accept that. But if we're not doing something the way that you want it to be done, tell us.
Let us know.
Be constructive. Indeed, like that, and let us know by song as well, because that's even more interesting. But do so. No one's going to really. Well, we might kick off a little bit, but no, our egos aren't that big. But if there's generally something you don't like, let us know, because it could be something that we've not thought about before. There could be a way of improving the show that we haven't thought about, and we're going to get that from feedback. So, yeah, let us know. Let us know. Stop singing.
I feel a jingle being recorded.
Right. Well, before we go, I put a little thing on Twitter halfway through recording. Does anyone want to shout out? So Queen Ursula, which is on Twitter is Queen_Ursula_UK, said whoop whoop.
Nice.
Nice, yeah, classy.
Son of the police, isn't it?
Alan Darcy can you please give a shout out to Katie Darcy for their fundraising events for Cordwell Kids? darcydreams.weebly.com. So there you go. That's that one.
That's a bit for charity.
Yeah. And
like this all
the Orlando tourist blog, they've come off a bit needy. We do. I thought you were better than that Orlando tourist blog. I really did. We do.
We've had a couple of retweets as well. The Disney movie review. I'm interested to see what they think about Tomorrowland, actually. So we really should discuss that on the show at some point, but again, that's for another time. But yeah.
Didn't we on the last show?
Or did we?
Or did we?
Oh yeah, that
I just said that and looked into an imaginary camera just off to the right. What is happening to my life? This is not the Truman Show.
Or is it?
Or is it? God. Should have had Periscope open.
The axe is coming.
We know.
Yeah, that one.
Growing older is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Dis After Dark, the podcast that's nearly the same as all the others.
We could have done all the rest of the ways to contact the show as well, but hey,
Yeah.
Dino,
they can always
Just rewind.
go and check our show notes. Full of everything. And James,
everything you need to know.
You're
Hang on.
increasingly
Hang on.
devious.
I've got breaking news on the Bowman's front.
Yeah.
I've just realised that this is cider with orange and orange flavouring.
Thought he was going to say the dog had pooed on his chest.
Is there that's orange flavoured that isn't actually an orange?
This is what I don't understand.
That might be alright for crows if it's only orange flavoured.
That's true.
Could be why.
That was me crow.
Suddenly, the silence reigned.
Did you like that one, James?